In the 75-year history of Santa Anita Park, one thoroughbred stands out as the people's horse. John Henry won a dozen races in all at Santa Anita, and remarkably, he actually had an 11-race winning streak at the Great Race Place. And now a special honor will keep the memory of the great John Henry in the hearts and minds of racing fans for years to come.
In the early 1980s, a former claiming horse rose to prominence to become a dominant force at Santa Anita Park. And in the irons for one of his greatest scores at the Great Race Place was Lafitte Pincay in the 1981 Big Cap.
Came through in the rail, and that day I had to really hand ride him hard. You know, there were some tough horses in that race, but at the end he just threw away.
It's John Henry getting to the front by one length.
He was just a great horse.
The flag is up, and they're off.
He also made a name for himself with a national audience at the inaugural running of the Arlington Million.
As we're entering the stretch, I find myself on the lead on the board, and I'm thinking to myself, we might win this thing. As we got close to the 8th pole, I could hear a horse coming. I could see the shadow roll, and I knew who it was. It was John Henry. And I said to myself, oh, God, here he comes.
And a final move by John Henry. The bird is still there.
Eventually, they looked at the photo, and it was John Henry. He beats me in those.
The thrilling finish was etched in racing fans' memories. And in 1989, Arlington Park had the moment cast in bronze.
The first Arlington Million was unbelievable, and to see the statue in Arlington Park, it's just fabulous.
Across the country, a select number of special horses have earned the respect of the racing public and the admiration of the tracks where they raced. Secretariat reminds Belmont Park's 3-year-olds that a Triple Crown is a dream within reach. At Churchill Downs, inaugural Kentucky Derby winner Aristides has been joined by Barbaro, who encourages us to remember that a heart of a champion beats just as loud off the track. And at Santa Anita Park, Seabiscuit, who brought hope and inspiration to countless racing fans during the Depression, still impacts the site of his greatest triumphs today.
Seabiscuit really anchors the paddock, and when people come out to the park, they are just awed by the Seabiscuit statue because they know it's such an honor to be where he's situated right now in the middle of the walking ring.
For over half a century, Seabiscuit stood alone at Santa Anita Park. Until now. Another great champion will be honored with a statue. A horse from a similar humble background, but with an equally large heart. John Henry, who in 1979 came into Ron McAnally's barn with a reputation.
They said he was a little bit nasty, but he was more than a little bit nasty. He would push the groom around. We had to get to know him pretty good.
John Henry blossomed as an older horse under the guidance of McAnally, and the one-time $1,100 yearling purchase became a force of nature at Santa Anita Park, racing 20 times, winning 11 graded stakes, including 8 Grade 1 races. And in the process, the all-time leading stakes winner at Santa Anita and Oak Tree, with 12 victories, became a fan favorite.
He was a horse that was kicked around when he was young and didn't look like anything, and yet he overcame it all. And I think a lot of people related to that.
He was the blue-collar horse for the blue-collar horseman. By the time he started really winning any races, he was 5 or 6 years old, and then he just started winning. And the people jammed up against these railings, 10 deep, 20 deep, screaming, John, 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 you can do it.
And he did. A partial list of his accomplishments include capturing the Oak Tree Invitational 3 times, the San Luis Rey twice, and the San Juan Capistrano at 1 3/4 miles. Under McAnally's tutelage, he won an incredible 7 Eclipse Awards, including 2 Horse of the Year honors in 1981 and 1984.
Just a real rhythm to him when he was running. That's the most important thing, I think, that made him what he was.
Later in his career, Chris McCarron primarily rode the Gutsy Gelding and was aboard for John's second score in the Arlington Million in 1984. In his 83rd career start, he capped off his last year of racing with a win in the Ballantine Scotch Classic as a 9-year-old.
Here they come to the finish, and here's John Henry in front.
John Henry left the game with 39 wins to his credit as the world's richest racehorse, with over $6.5 million in purses. And in 1990, he was inducted into the Racing Hall of Fame.
What we did with him was turn that nastiness into treating him very kind, and he took all that and he turned it into his ability to beat other horses. And you know, he knew that we were kind to him, and he said, I'm going to repay you for it. And it was just really a privilege to have trained a horse with the ability he had.
In retirement, John Henry thrilled his fans once again at the Kentucky Horse Park. Ever the warrior, he fought the odds to live to 32 years of age. After his passing in 2007, Santa Anita set out to erect a statue to honor the memory of John Henry.
After Seabiscuit, the one horse most of our racing fans could identify for a long period of time was John Henry. He was a people's horse, he was a claiming horse who worked his way up, became truly a champion, and stayed a champion for many, many years.
You know, we always knew we were going to do a statue of John Henry. It was just when. He was an all-time favorite and an all-time champion. He has to be out in that paddock.
Santa Anita Park and Oak Tree Racing commissioned artist Nina Kaiser to sculpt a life-sized bronze statue.
I think I'm a horse person first and foremost. My first job was as a hot walker for Eddie Gregson, as a matter of fact.
A former exercise rider and assistant trainer, Nina, like her subject, rose to prominence on grit, determination, and talent. For 18 months, Nina labored over the project.
I started by collecting every photograph I could possibly collect.
I would show her different things about him. We brought hundreds of pictures.
So I did the third size maquette, it's called, and then it's digitally enlarged, and it's almost as if it's like a robot sculptor. And then you put a skin of clay, well, I probably put about ½ an inch of clay, and that's where I, enhance the details. Working on the legs is particularly fun because it's like, it's reminding me of when I was a groom. This is how I started out. Then at that point, the foundry gets involved and they make a mold of it. Then you're presented with sort of 10 pieces of bronze and then the patina process.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. John Henry.
It's nice to be here and pay an honor to his statue.
The response by the crowd was great. We're so happy here at Santa Anita to have this new addition to our paddock.
It kind of brought tears to my eyes, I was really emotionally involved with the horse, and after seeing the statue, it brought back a lot of memories.
I think I'm still reacting. I think I'm still reacting to it. It was, the people have been amazing.
I don't think they could have chosen a better sculptress than Nina. She did every detail to him that I could possibly give to her.
It's certainly an amazing honor that while I was working on it and now, I have pulled myself up every so often and said, oh my God, unbelievable.
This sort of defines her career too. This is her major work.
I think it's all because of the impact that the horses have on the fans. I think there was Seabiscuit and then there was John Henry. Having done this sculpture, I now realized how important he was to so many people. He has fans to this day that write me and tell me how important John Henry was to them.
John Henry is no longer with us. However, his legacy will live on at Santa Anita Park. A horse that not only won over his competitors, but the imagination of the public as well. And his likeness will serve as a reminder to fans, new and old, that greatness is always within reach.